why is, and again, there are another 30 outreaches that the apostle has. This is a very important one. Why is teaching the faith in the family so important? Why, apostolate, are you making such a big deal about that? The answer to that question is revealed in the 3 theological virtues of faith, hope, and love. Why? Because faith is the foundational virtue, okay? The virtues are stacked one on top of each other. They're not linear, faith, hope, and love. They're stacked, and they start from the bottom up. And the first one is faith. Faith is learning the promises of Christ, learning what the church has to teach, learning what God has for us in our life today. Secondly, hope. What's hope? Hope is trusting in the promises that I just learned, okay? And seeking heaven for my reward. I can't trust in the promises and seek heaven as my reward and trust the power of the Holy Spirit if I don't know any of that stuff, because nobody taught me the faith. So faith is the first thing that we need to teach. And then upon that, hope is built. And then lastly, as we trust in the promises of God, it is only through faith and hope in God that we can truly begin to love. And in love, in charity, reaching out to other people, we are actually living a life of virtue. And don't we want people around us to be virtuous? Don't we want our children to be virtuous? Faith is the foundational virtue. So let's say just for a moment that you say, I'm going to chuck the faith, I'm going to pull the rug out and topple those theological virtues. What happens? If we don't teach the faith to our children, if I'm not taught the faith, then the opposing force to the faith begins to grab hold. And what force really opposes strongly the faith? Pride. Why? Because with the faith, I believe in God and what He reveals as truth. And if I don't do that, then I begin to believe in myself and what I decide to be good and evil. You see the shift that begins to happen? Secondly, hope. I no longer, if I don't know the promises of Christ, I can't trust the promises of Christ. And if I'm not trusting the promises of Christ, who do I trust? I become fearful. There's a disordered fear where I'm afraid that I'll never be happy. I'm not trusting in what God is saying. I'm fearing that I'm not going to be happy. You mean, actually, Father Kevin did this. He was at a school and he said, okay, who of you want to be saints? Raise your hands. And about 1 or 2 kids began to raise their hand. They looked at their friends and they pulled their hand down. And he said, okay, let me give you a quick catechetical lesson. Here's the deal. At the end of time, there are only 2 places that you can go. You ready? The first one is smoking, and the other one is the non-smoking section. Which section do you want to be in? You can only, if you're going to be in heaven, you have to be a saint. Who wants to be a saint? Everybody raise their hand. So it's important for us to understand that we need to trust in the promises of Christ, and if not, we can't seek for holiness because we're afraid, I'm not going to be, I don't want to be a saint, I don't want to raise my hand because it's not fun to be a saint. That's a lie from hell, and it works. Additionally, love. No longer do we want what's good for other people for the love of God. We love them because we love God. We start to seek envy and malice for other people. Do you see what's happening in society right now? We pull prayer out of school, we rip the carpet out from underneath our families, and what happened? The very fabric of society is torn apart and society collapses. And don't we see around us pride, fear, envy, malice? Now it's important for us as parents to understand we need to sacrifice now or sacrifice later. We either need to sacrifice now to teach our children the truths of the faith, or we will be sacrificed by our children later through euthanasia. They will sacrifice our finances. They will sacrifice our grandchildren through contraception, through abortion. They will introduce us to the values of society. I was a Boy Scout, and I learned the Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And I had to memorize them. We either instill the faith in our children and raise Boy Scouts, or we don't do it, and we end up cultivating barbarians. It's up to us as parents to take up our duty that the church tells us is our duty to teach the faith to our children. The whole of society, the fabric of society rests on our shoulders. By the grace of God, we can do it. So how do we do family catechesis? So how do you do it? Okay, it's important. Don't want society to topple. How do we do it? I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions first. When you do family catechesis in your family, I encourage greatly the fathers to be involved. Why? There was a study done in Switzerland with 50 families, and the father was not involved in the faith at all in those 50 families. Some of the mothers were involved in the faith and some weren't. When the children left those households, how many of those households do you think that the children went on in the faith? One, regardless of the devotion of the mother. Then the next study showed, well, what happens when father is involved, even somewhat involved? If the father is somewhat involved, regardless of the devotion of mother, and the mother is important, but there's something unique about the role of the father, 2/3 to 3/4 of the children whose father is somewhat involved in the faith go on to seek the faith in their life. The father, in an unusual way, imitates God the Father. And if I say, son, I'm going to teach you how to throw a football, I'm going to teach you how to invest in the stock market, not a good idea today, but I'm going to teach you how to write checks, balance your budget, go to college, make a lot of money, but I don't teach you the faith, the reality is I just taught you the faith. I taught you my faith in the world, not my faith in God. So fathers, we need to step forward, get up on Sunday morning, get up early, go to Mass and pray, and our children will follow. Additionally, when it comes to teaching the faith in the family, you can never underestimate the power of bribery. I bribe my children. When we start to learn the faith, I pull out treats, and when they get a right answer, I hand them a peanut butter bar. I say, good, that's great. And then, because you got to understand, you're on the front line, and you say, okay, kids, and we do it in my family. Monday night is family catechesis night. And so right when I say that, all hell breaks loose. My children go into that demonic possession thing. And so it's like, oh, here we go. And so if you know that that's happening, then you need to prepare for it ahead of time. So treats are a wonderful way to do it. And understand that if you did just invite them to watch a video with you, they would have said, sure, that sounds great. But not to do something spiritual, because the demons from hell get unleashed against you. Third, when it comes to family catechesis, the key is constancy. Do it, pick to do it. If you're going to do it once a week, then be consistent with it. If you miss a day, then do it the next day. Even if you can't do a full lesson, in my family, we'll even do a 5-minute catechetical lesson just so that we definitely get it in. Monday night, I missed it last night, and so my children said, oh, Mom made some peanut butter bars. Can we do family catechesis? And she said, wait till Dad gets back. We'll do it on Thursday night. The constancy is key. The children need to know it's that important, because wouldn't you, if you thought your son was going to be a great golfer, wouldn't you keep him exercising and practicing his golf? Don't we want to do the same for our children so that they can be great saints? Now, there needs to be a balance. In addition to family catechesis night, we recommend strongly a family fun night. You have to balance out the theology with the fun. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. As a family, one of the things that we've done, we'll get a video and we'll watch a video, or we'll do family Olympics. We did this a couple of weeks ago where we said, we'll do family Olympics like Catholic Family Land. So we got outside and we started doing the thing with the shoe, and we're kicking our shoes, and our neighbors look as these shoes keep going up and down in the Rourke household. And then we said, okay, we're going to do a race, and we pitted the little kids against each other, then the older kids, and then the oldest kids, and we started running around the household, and they thought it was a Chinese fire drill as all the Rourkes are running around the house trying to see who can get there first. But it was really fun, and the children enjoyed it, and they enjoyed hopping the fence. So, family fun night. You need to balance things out. Lastly, is we need to involve creativity. Pope John Paul II said, there cannot be too little of an effort, too little of a zeal given to be creative as parents to teach our children the faith. And so a couple of ideas for that. I'm sure you can probably come up with other ones. I found that I printed out some good riddles, and I'll get Father Kevin jokes, and I'll start family catechesis night with a riddle. And that gets the children involved. The other way that I get them involved is I get emails that have sometimes some wholesome video clips that are inspirational. And so that's a fantastic way for you to inspire your children to say, hey, we're going to start with a video. The children tend to then run into the family room they want to start. When I don't do a video, I say time for family catechesis. It's like, got to go to the bathroom, and all the bathrooms in the whole house are full up. But when I have a video, I say, well, I've got a video, and I'm just going to press play. Then they all run in the family room.